So if you don't know me, I am the head of community at Gumroad, and my entire job is creating workshops, challenges, products, and little guides to help support creators make more money online. And today I'm going to be talking about the 5 things you need to fix if you want to start skyrocketing your sales. So stick around if you want to quit your 9 to 5 and become a full-time creator online. And first, just a very quick announcement. On January 1st, we're starting up the 14-day product challenge again. And the 14-day product challenge is designed to help you find accountability and quickly launch a product, whether it's your first product or your 5th. This challenge is for you, and it's really, really fun. And you'll get tasks each day and support, advice from other Gumroad creators. And you'll also get access to our Gumroad Circle community. In October, we had over 1,500 signups, and some creators earned thousands of dollars. So make sure you subscribe at gumroad.com/Gumroad to sign up for January. You'll see the product guide in there, and you'll also get all the announcements. It's going to be the perfect way to start the new year by becoming a creator. And we're going to learn a little bit more in the challenge in January, but today we're going to talk about the 5 things that you need to fix if you want to skyrocket your sales. So the first thing that you need to fix is you don't have enough credibility. One of the biggest problems creators have when they're trying to get sales is not enough credibility. Kind of the age-old adage, if you build it, they will come, is 1000% false. It might work for a very few people, but for the other 99% of creators online, if you build it, you have to find ways for them to come find your product, because if you build it, they're not going to come. So I want you to think kind of the last product that you bought. Most likely you felt like you had some kind of relationship with the creator, whether it was because you read a blog post or you watched a video. It was because they provided value in some way that you felt was really useful in your life. So you really first need to think about what relationship that you have with your customers. And I know that's weird to think about, like, what's your relationship with people you've never met online? But you can't just put a product out there and hope that they will come. So for me, one of my favorite Gumroad creators, and you probably know him because he's the head of product at Gumroad, is Daniel Vassallo. I think he's amazing. And I found him by reading this blog post where he had written about how he left Amazon to be a full-time creator. And I was extremely intrigued. I thought he was interesting right away. And then I went to his Twitter profile. And this is kind of how a lot of relationships work online. I went to his Twitter profile. I saw that he was offering Twitter profile reviews. And he talked about how he had no followers last year. And this year he had over 30,000. And immediately he was providing value to me because I was interested in what he was doing. I was excited and I wanted to learn more. And at the time, I was working on this book, but I had a very small Twitter following. And I knew that launching a book to a small audience wasn't going to have the big impact that I really wanted. So I messaged Daniel. He messaged me back. He gave me a few tips, and they were extremely useful after I implemented them. So as soon as his product was released, I immediately bought it. And I became one of his biggest fans because I felt like I had a relationship with him. And all this time I had been reading his tweets and finding them valuable and feeling like I knew him enough to want to buy a product. So I actually did the same thing. I offered free resume reviews online and my audience started growing quickly. And you can do the same thing. You can find something small. And I started offering all these free resources to help build this relationship with people. I helped them prepare for interviews and told them where they could apply. And for my first few customers, I would send out personal messages asking how I could help them in their job search, whether it was a resume review or a quick chat. And I suddenly had a huge audience. And you can do this as well because you will become credible as a creator if you consistently provide value. And you need to be regularly putting value out there. And I know it's difficult, but take a look at the content you have right now and ask yourself, are you putting enough out there? Are you regularly creating blog posts or videos? Are you emailing your email list consistently? How have you helped one person today even? When you're just starting out, you can start applying this right away. You can respond to someone else's tweet and you can offer to help them in some way that relates to your product. You can really start small. You don't have to have a huge social media presence to start helping people, because you want to build a relationship with your audience. If you don't have this relationship, they're not going to buy your product. And the next thing you need to be able to do to quit your 9 to 5 and become a full-time creator is create a compelling landing page. And this is a problem that many creators have, and some don't even know it. We spend, so much time working on our product and making it amazing, but if you spend all this time working on your product, you want to at least make sure, that you've created a compelling landing page. You have this very brief amount of time where you need to grab attention to close the sale. Otherwise, they're going to just put down, your book and walk away, the metaphorical book anyway. If you have a sales page, go ahead and open it up maybe while we discuss this, or keep it in your mind. And if you have a product but no sales page yet, that's fine. You can still think about what you want to achieve here. So the first thing we want to do to fix your landing page issue is you want to look at your landing page and you want to ask yourself quickly do you have a clear value proposition? If someone lands on your page and they look at it right away, is it clear in less than 3 seconds what you're selling? You can send your sales page to a few friends and ask them what they think as well. And you can also post in the Gumroad Circle community as well after this challenge. But you really want your customers to immediately know what you're offering them right away. And I also want you to look at landing pages of products that you've bought on Gumroad, in the past. Really think about what made you want to buy the product. What was their convincing offer? What was the transformation you were promised? Because the most effective offer is going to promise some sort of transformation to your customer. Like Daniel Vasalo's Twitter product, it has a clear value add. I knew exactly what I was getting. And after the course, I knew I was going to have a Twitter audience. And that is a very clear transformation. And you also want to make sure that you don't have a sales page that is riddled with errors. You want to proofread everything. I recommend you try Grammarly, which is a free editing tool, and you can send your product page to your friends as well. And you can even read it out loud to yourself, which is extremely powerful. Because if someone is landing on your sales page and they see a ton of issues, they're going to assume you didn't put time into your product, because it's clear you didn't put time into the sales page. So remember that the sales page is sort of the cover for your product. You want to make sure it's very compelling. And you want to check that the overall page just looks good. Do your graphics look good? Are they presentable? Sometimes it's worth hiring someone on Fiverr to do the graphics for you, something I've done in the past. And you want to make sure all your links are working. How does it look on mobile? Have you tested, your checkout flow and everything looks good and you have a thank you? And your next problem is you don't have enough testimonials, because you need testimonials. I cannot tell you how many products I've purchased because I saw someone I knew or admired had bought the product and talked about it. And there are 2 different types of testimonials we're going to talk about. There are testimonials from industry experts and testimonials from your customers. And you can go either way or even try for both, but it's important to have at least a few testimonials on your Gumroad page. It's sort of your social proof. So if you already have customers that are talking about your product online, amazing. Grab those, put them on your sales page. But if you don't have customers talking about your product online yet, don't worry. And if you don't have a ton of credibility yet as a creator, think about first who you can ask to vouch for your product. Maybe this is someone in your industry, maybe this is a friend. If you don't know someone that you can ask, you can write a very personalized cold email. And you also can just ask for reviews from your Gumroad customers. You can send them an email. Seeing a ton of these 5-star reviews is going to go a really long way to getting a sale, so it's worth it to put the time in. At the end of an email to your customers, ask for a review. Throw in a PS, are you enjoying the book? I would love a 5-star review. And this is something really simple you can do, and most people will be really happy to do it. And the next issue is that you didn't create urgency for a purchase. Generally, you're going to get more sales if you build urgency into your launch. And if you've already launched, don't worry about it. You can do another launch version and you can update your product. You can include bonus material and you can launch again if you feel like you didn't put enough into your first launch, because it's really important to hype up your launch. I want you to think about, are you creating anticipation? Are you building in public? Are you giving away sections of the work for free? Have you made your launch really exciting? How are you really rewarding your early buyers? Are they getting some kind of bonus? Because people are not going to be incentivized to buy, your product if they don't feel like there's urgency. So you need to offer some type of incentive. Maybe that's a section that you give away for free. Maybe it's a coupon, or it's a bonus section that only pre-orders can get. And this sort of leads into the next thing you need to do, which is, to continue building urgency into your sales. And this is real urgency. It's an urgency to buy the product before you raise the price forever, or to buy the product before you take the first version off the market to work on the next version. Or it's the urgency to buy the product while you're offering a free great bonus, or a module, or a small short PDF guide along with your video course. And another issue, is that you're not asking for help, and you're not asking for people to share it. So you need to create this way, and you need to give people a date. And finally, the next thing you need to fix if you want to skyrocket your sales is to start promoting yourself and your content. And this is something I've definitely struggled with in the past. It feels really uncomfortable to put yourself out there, because it's a little bit scary, but if you aren't putting your offer out there, people are not going to see it. You really need to evaluate your product and where you're sharing it, and you need to be regularly sharing your product online. You need to be sending updates to your email list, and you need to be creating blog posts. And this can be really uncomfortable. I absolutely get it. I really struggled with this myself. But like I said, if you aren't putting yourself out there, there's no way for people to see your product. So you need to make sure that you're putting yourself out there regularly, and that you're promoting your offer, and you're sharing it on Twitter, and you're sharing it on Facebook groups maybe, or forums. Because as I said earlier, if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to build it and they will come, they're not going to come. No one is going to see your offer if you're not finding a way to share it. And eventually, when you've created all this great content, and we're actually going to talk about a lot of this in the 14-day product challenge. If you want to sign up, we'll post the link in the chat. But the most important thing you can do is create content consistently and share it online. And once you've created enough content, people will start finding you in a really natural way, and they'll see all these amazing blog posts that you've created and videos, and they'll really just want to buy your product naturally. And that can be a really powerful thing. So I really want you to focus on getting comfortable sharing your offer online. And it feels really weird to share it at first, and you'll feel like you're asking for money, and you're asking your friends for money on Twitter or in Facebook groups. But the only way you can really get used to this is to just start doing it. And you also need to post your offer on social media regularly. And this is something where you can't post your offer once a month and hope people are seeing it. You need to be posting it every day, every other day, maybe a few times a week. You really need to set consistent goals for yourself here. And it's a little bit scary, but if you create kind of a consistent schedule for doing these things, it's going to become a non-issue, I promise you. And you will be on your way to becoming a full-time Gumroad creator and quitting your day job, which is, I'm sure, a lot of Gumroad creators' dreams. So we're going to jump into Q&A, and feel free to post all your questions into the Q&A, but let's just kind of go through a few things that we discussed today. So one, your first issue is you don't have credibility. And this is something you can fix in many ways, like we chatted about today. You can create a compelling blog post. You can create a series of videos. You can give away a free guide, or maybe a free video to your email list. And you can kind of You can create credibility for yourself online for people to find you. And you really need to go back and think about your favorite Gumroad creators and think about what they've given to you and what they've done for you. Because usually on Gumroad, we don't go buy random products. And even on Amazon, we look at the reviews, we look for social proof, or there's some need that we feel that we need to, we need the product to fix it and to solve a problem that we have. So we really need to think about your sales page And you need to think about, what problem are you solving? Is it clear that this is the problem they're going to get? Do you have testimonials? Have you provided some value to them for free? And this could be maybe a free bonus module, or maybe just a short video you send to your email list. But you really need to think about what you are giving away to your creators for free and how you're creating credibility online for them. And the next problem that we talked about is you don't have a compelling sales page. And this is a little bit in terms of credibility, because if someone goes to your sales page and they see that you have 5-star reviews and you have social proof and you have a powerful value proposition, this kind of leads into the same thing, that this is going to get you sales. And you also want to make sure your sales page looks good, that you have a great cover product or cover for your product. And this is something we're also going to work on in the 14-day product if you sign up. And the other issue that we discussed is you don't have testimonials. So this kind of leads into a compelling sales page as well. But you really want to make sure that you have social proof on your sales page, that you're regularly sharing reviews online, that you're sending out emails to your email list that say, hey, this is what this purchaser and customer said about my product, and they loved it, and they got this value out of it, and they went through this transformation. So you really want to be showing that you can do something for your customers. And you can see there's like a little theme in this workshop that you really need to like build this relationship with them, and you need to show them that you're going to fix a problem for them, because it can be a really powerful thing to get sales. And the fourth thing that we talked about in today's workshop is that you haven't created urgency. And you need to really do this in an authentic way. You need to put a time limit on your sales. You need to say, for the next 2 hours only, we are going to be offering 50% off, or we're going to be offering 25% off, or we are going to give away this amazing bonus module that is going to have this amazing transformation for your customers. So you really need to figure out a way to build urgency into your sales. And you can also build urgency into your launches. And this can be a very powerful thing as well, that perhaps you have a certain price point that you only have available for the first 24 hours in your launch, or you have a pre-sale price that is only available during the pre-sale. And as soon as the pre-sale is closed, that's gone. Because you don't want to be creating fake urgency. You don't want to be like one of those big companies on Black Friday where they say this product is 25% off, but you notice that they raise the product 50% the day before. You really want to be authentic in how you do this, because your customers will know. And if you didn't take the sales challenge, you can still get our sales challenge guide, which was just last week, and the product guide ended on Sunday. So you can sign up for that, and we actually talk about a lot of ways that you can add urgency. So if you go to gumroad.com/gumroad, you can see the guide there, and you can go through this process that we have for creating urgency into your sales, which is going to be extremely powerful for you. And finally, the last thing that we talked about today was that customers don't know about your offer, because kind of the age-old thing of if you build it, they will come. It's not true. It's going to be true for very few people, but you really need to be putting effort into creating content online, creating it consistently. I think I'll go back to this slide for a second, because I think it is so important. You need to be creating content consistently, and you need to be regularly creating it, and you need to be keeping your email list warm, and you need to be building this relationship. So it's really going to be powerful if this is going to be another thing we discussed about in the 14-day product challenge in January, is that you're creating content online consistently, and you're also sticking to a schedule. So if you need to stick to a sales schedule, you need to stick to a content calendar schedule. You need to set goals for yourself in the new year where, say, every week you will create 1 blog post, or every month you're going to create 2 videos. And if you really set these small goals for yourself, and they also can include social media goals as well, something like you're going to post on Twitter 3 times a day, you're going to share your offer 3 times a week, you're going to post on a Facebook group and add value there for someone else once a day. Creating small goals like this makes it much more achievable, and you'll see that after a while, you're going to be reaping these benefits over and over again, because people are going to be finding your new content, and they're going to be finding your old content. So this can be an extremely great way for you to get sales and be able to quit your job and become a full-time creator. So thank you so much for attending this workshop. We're going to have so much more of these and Q&As coming in January along with the product challenge. And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and open up the Q&A. So feel free right now to post your questions in the Q&A, and I'll be answering them and kind of going through anything that you want to chat about, any questions that you might have. So go ahead and feel free, anything you want to ask. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first question. Is it too cheeky to ask if you can do a live review of my product, tear down against what we just learned? That's exciting. Sure. Go ahead and post your product link, and I'll go ahead and share my screen again as soon as you do. Awesome. I'm going to open it up. If anyone else wants to do this, this will be fun. Let me just share my screen. Okay, the email marketing war chest, templates, discounts, tools, and resources to help you get your first 100 subscribers. Okay, awesome. First of all, I really like that you have kind of a clear value proposition. And I like that you kind of go through what they're getting right away. I think a little bit right off the bat, I like your graphics, but I think you could have a more powerful kind of proposition right here. So I think this is really powerful, 100 subscribers, and I think that could be bigger because a lot of people don't have enough email list subscribers. We want more. So I think this could be a little more emphasized, but I think this looks great. I love what you've kind of done here with the pre-order sale. If anyone else is looking at this and thinking, you know, it's too late, I've already done my launch, or, you know, what can I do for kind of like a pre-order discount? This is a really powerful way if you haven't done your launch to do a pre-order, but if you have went through your launch already, like for instance, this creator later can say for the next 2 hours, we're going to have this price. And I love what you did here, which is put your discount right up front and make it very clear, because sometimes this message can get lost. And I think, you know, sometimes people scroll through and right away you need to capture their attention, which kind of leads me into right here, the first 100 subscribers. This is really powerful way to kind of show that you have a way to help them, and you want to make kind of the value problem a little more clear. And then moving into your updates, this is great. I think this all looks great. I think the one thing that I would say, I love what you've done kind of with the clear headers and made it very clear. And this is awesome. I would say maybe even move this further up. And because people don't really think, I think I'm way past the average person, and in a bad way, that I get so many emails per day that it is painful. My email inbox is awful. I would say you could even make this a little bit higher up. Like, this is the problem that the average person receives 120 emails approximately per day. And the solution, you know, this is how you're going to help them. So this is great. And I would say one thing that you could work on is maybe go through and get a few more testimonials and get reviews. And you can, like I said earlier, you can email someone and you can just, you know, ask them right up front and just say, hey, if you love the product, here's a free bonus module, or I added this to the product today. P.S. Can you give me a 5-star review? People don't mind you asking this, and I know it's very uncomfortable at first, but they are not going to mind. They're going to be so happy, you know, to help you out in some way. So I would really say the one thing that you could work on here is kind of going through the testimonials, adding more, and then also one last thing is, what are these bonuses? I think this isn't clear. But overall, I think your sales page looks amazing. I think everyone can learn a lot from your graphics here. It looks awesome. And I think actually a few more people have posted that they would like a review as well. So here's another one that we can go through. And everyone, feel free to ask other questions as well. We have like 15 more minutes we can go through if you have any more. So I'm going to open up the next product. CoderFit, all you need to know for your programming career. It's exciting. I think, first of all, great job on already getting reviews, and awesome job on putting all of this here and kind of catching their attention right away. I think a little bit, I'd like a little more of like a clear what you're solving here. Like, what is the problem that your customer has and what solution are you providing them? Maybe include this in your graphic somehow, or make it a little larger. Maybe don't make it bullet points, but make it more conversational right away. But I think this looks really great. Great job on getting reviews. And also, one thing that a lot of people should know, don't underprice yourself. So this is a great price. So many Gumroad creators get online, they create this amazing product, and then they sell it for like $5. And something powerful to remember that this creator is doing really well is that people find value in your pricing. So if you know that you've created a great product, and obviously, you've all created great products, but if you know that you've created a great product, don't put it at $5 or $10. Don't underprice yourself. And this is something that we talk a lot about in our sales guide, and we're going to talk about in challenges and workshops in the future, but it's something really powerful for Gumroad creators that people are going to see value in your pricing. So if you say, oh, my product is $5 or $8 or it's $3, they're probably going to think it's not that valuable. Similarly to if you give away a free product and not a lot of people are downloading it, sometimes people think, oh, it's free, I didn't really invest time in it, I don't want to finish it. So sometimes pricing can be really important for making the sale, and going cheaper is not necessarily going to help you. So this is something this creator did really well. And this seems like a very fair price for a 108-page book. So really well done. And this is great. I think this is a little bit long. So I think you could kind of, condense this. So for me, I would say that everything you need to know about your career, this could be a little more exciting of a value proposition. Like, for instance, why do they want to learn about the history of software engineering? Is it so they can, discuss with their new engineering coworkers at their first job, if they can eloquently discuss this? And kind of really, you could combine these two, I would even say. So I think these look really great, but I would probably try to condense it a little bit and maybe even move this up, because this is a really interesting value proposition right now, especially, in this climate. So that's really interesting thing you could potentially, condense a little bit and work on that. But overall, I think this looks great. And this is something a lot of Gumroad creators can do better. Talk about pricing on your page and talk about how much value you're going to provide. And you want to do this in a really authentic way. But one thing you can do is you can say, this entire course with my modules and all the work I put into it, and maybe expert testimonials that you're going to get, or expert interviews in the product, or a free bonus video that's going to help you solve this problem. It all adds up to kind of XYZ value. So maybe this book is going to be worth, $150 worth of value, but you're providing it for $39 because you are generous and you want to give away, you always want to give away enough to your customers that they feel like they walked away with a great deal, because you don't want to just give them a shoddy product that makes them feel like they lost value. You want to make sure that they feel like they've walked away with a lot of value. And this creates a lifetime customer. It's really something that you want to think about, the lifetime value of your customer, because if you're providing so much value to this person, so this is potentially worth a $5,000 raise, and that is a ton of value. And it's so great that this creator is putting this right out here and saying this could potentially get you a 5K raise, and this could even, you could move this up, and you could say this book is going to help you get this raise, or it's going to help you get a promotion, and it's going to help you get maybe $1 million more over the span of your career, because this is a clear problem solution that you want to really emphasize on your page. Because I think your page looks amazing, and it is so clear that you've put so much time into it and you've really spent a lot of effort into doing this. But I think your problem solution could be a little more powerful in a way. But overall, I think your page looks amazing. And testimonials with links, this is another great thing that creators can do, because this is huge social proof. This is really showing people, oh, this is actually where you can go and see the review. Maybe it's just a link to a Twitter, maybe it's a screenshot like this. This is really strong, and this really catches the eye. So I highly recommend that you find a way to kind of integrate this. And also another great thing this creator is doing is questions right here. I would say one thing that I possibly like to see is maybe talking about a refund policy. You don't have to. It can sometimes be a way. There's a lot of studies that say if you offer a refund, it can be a powerful way to get a sale because people know that you stand behind your product, and they know that once they go and they click and they buy your product, that if they open it up and it's not what you promised, that they can get a return. So overall, I think awesome sales page, great job. I'm going to go ahead and move to the next question. So this is a great question. How would you go about promoting a product when you don't have any audience? So this is something that I had to kind of start doing myself earlier this year, and a lot of Gumroad creators, we all have to do this at some point, even Daniel Vassallo. And this can be actually a very powerful thing and something that we actually discussed in the Q&A we had last week with Daniel Vassallo, and he had an amazing answer. You can go watch it on YouTube. It's on the Gumroad channel. And it's something that he talked about is that kind of building in public and how you can walk your customers through this amazing journey that you're going to have. And you can show them what you're creating in the moment, and you can give them small samples. For me, I started out and I had 300 Twitter followers, and they were mostly my friends and family. Frankly, they were all my friends and family. So I had an audience of just friends that I'd met in San Francisco when I've been working in tech. And I started growing my Twitter audience by providing value for free. I created, so something you can do that will be really strong for your product is creating a free guide. And there's a ton of examples for this online. You can go see people, it's called a lead magnet, and people create something for free and they give it away in exchange for an email address. And you might even give it away on Twitter for free, and someone might follow you. The most important thing is that you're giving away something very valuable that is related to your product. And this is such a great way to build your audience because people right away, are seeing that you're giving away value. So I wouldn't necessarily say to this person who asked the question, and feel free to keep dropping your questions in the chat. I see we have a few more good ones, but how would you go about promoting the product when you don't have any audience? I think I would start with a free guide. I would start with a blog post. I would start with a YouTube video, whatever kind of, that might be for you. Figure out a way to give value away for people and create kind of this relationship. Because if, like I said in the workshop, if you have a relationship with your customers online, they're going to want to buy something from you, and they're going to want to keep buying things from you if these are valuable. So the first thing that I would do if you do not have an audience at all is really just start by not sharing your offer, but by sharing something in your product away for free. So let's go back to Dominique's question. And we have about 10 more minutes to answer questions. So please feel free to drop them in the chat or maybe your Gumroad product, and I'll answer them right now. So to kind of relate this back to Dominique's product, perhaps they could go and they could say, in exchange for your email, and you don't have to make this like a transactional kind of way. That sounds so weird to say it like exchange for your email, but you could say, hey, I'm giving away the first 3 email subject line templates, and you can download them on my website and you can check them out. And say Dominique doesn't have an audience and he's trying to share this offer, but he doesn't have any Twitter followers, or he doesn't have YouTube subscribers, or he doesn't have an email list yet. What he can do is he can go through and take, say maybe this weekly analytic dashboard template, and he can take that template and he could put it into its own PDF or its own video, whatever that might be. It might even be a free bonus module. He can put that, on his website and say, paste in your email address and you will get this free weekly analytic dashboard template. And this can be a great way to build your audience. For me, I did this earlier this year, and I didn't have an audience, but I created 2 free guides, and you can check them out on my website if you want. It's randallkanna.com. They're for engineering. They're not that exciting if you're not interested in coding, But you can see many creators do this, and they basically post a free PDF or a free video in exchange for your email address. So for me, I created, this long guide and created a second guide, and I got around 1,500 subscribers right away in both guides. Now, I think each guide has maybe about 3 to 4,000 subscribers. And like I said earlier, I started out with no audience, and I had absolutely nobody on my email list. I had an email list of 0, and it's almost to 10,000 now. So if you don't have an audience, don't worry about it. And I think this is such a great question because most Gumroad creators don't start out with an audience. But one thing you can do is you can go get our email list product guide, which is also at gumroad.com/Gumroad. And you can kind of go through that, and we'll be starting that again soon. But you can get the resource now, and you can start building your email list. Something that we touch upon on a lot of Gumroad challenges is that your email list are your most engaged customers. They're going to be your biggest fans, because if someone gives you your email address and they're saying, cut through the noise, cut through social media, cut through ads, and just email me directly, it means they really feel like they have a relationship with you. So for any, Gumroad creator in this workshop, potentially give away a module of your product for free, and, find a way that you can create this relationship. So I'm going to move on to the next question. Thanks, Alex. What is your view on putting a book/product on one platform, like Gumroad, versus listing it on multiple marketplaces like Amazon, Apple Books, etc.? So I think something that is almost like a pro and a con of being an online creator without saying like having a book deal. It's a pro and a con in that your pro is that Gumroad lets you keep a huge percentage of your profits. And if you go look at, say, Amazon, they're going to keep most of your profit. And at this point, if you're a Gumroad creator, you're not famous, or if you're any content creator online, no matter where you're posting, your audience is yours. And if you're sending them to Amazon or Apple Books and they're taking a huge percentage of your profit, like if you go look it up, it's astronomical, which is why personally for me, I don't post, and I don't put anything on Amazon or Apple Books, because I'm sending my audience and I've put my time and my effort into building this audience. I don't want to send them away to somewhere that's going to take a huge percentage of my profit. And I really feel like if you're going to be building your audience and you're going to be putting all this effort online into your product, you kind of deserve to keep that profit. So I think that the one good thing, about Amazon or maybe Apple Books is that people can find your product, but you'll generally find when you start selling online more regularly that the people that find your product online are people that know you. They're not necessarily searching through a million Amazon reviews. They're doing it because they found a blog post, or they saw one of your ads, or they saw a YouTube video for you. So I think for me, what I really think about is, why would I give away my profit share for someone that's really not helping me make the sale? So for Gumroad, we have Gumroad Discover, which is, very similar. You might get featured, and if you watch the Q&A from last week, you'll see that Daniel had a huge percentage. I think he said 7% or something of his sales came from Gumroad Discover. But I think my biggest takeaway in this question is that, sure, you might get some sales from Amazon or Apple Books, but they're going to keep like 70% of what you put up there. I think if I forget the exact amount, but if you look at how much you get from putting like a $10 product out there, it's just, it's wild. And Gumroad keeps a tiny percentage. It's really, it's the Stripe or the PayPal or whatever, that tiny little percentage. And, you pay your certain amount per month on Gumroad, and they're keeping a tiny amount, opposed to Amazon, which is going to keep a huge amount. And it's really not going to help you get many sales unless, you're famous and you have a book deal. And even then you have to be a huge author. You have to be like James Clear or, J.K. Rowling to get a huge amount of sales. So I think the biggest takeaway here is, if you're putting this effort into building your audience, why would you want to send them away, somewhere else that is going to keep your profits? So really great question. This is something I did a lot of research in, because I was actually originally selling on Gumroad and a Gumroad competitor. And I sold on both for a while, and I got, I think, $3,000 worth of sales on the competitor, and I got 30,000 on Gumroad over the span of just a few months. And I just moved my product off of the competitor because it just wasn't worth it for me anymore to pay the fees and go through the percentages there and work on updating a product. Because for content creators online, Gumroad is equivalent to Amazon. It is that important to us. People love Gumroad. People trust Gumroad. So I really saw that all of my sales were going to Gumroad because people feel, and they feel like they have a relationship and they trust Gumroad. So it's going to be really powerful. So I'm going to move to the next question. Thanks, Alex, for that great question. I set up my Gumroad account a week ago. This session has been helpful and scary at the same time. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know how to sell. All I want to do is write football blogs. How do I go about selling them? So I think I'd have to look at your product individually a little bit more kind of to see that. But do not feel scared. That makes no, do not feel scared at all. I think the number one thing I can say to you is start small. And this is applicable to everyone here. Create a tiny schedule. For me, when I started out, I literally had this like little notepad on my desk, and I would say, okay, I'm going to tweet one time today. And I'm going to post one video this month. I'm going to create one blog post this month. So small, because it's like anything in life. If you look at the overall picture of what you have to do, say you want to, change careers and into a whole new field and get a new job, or you want to have a down payment on a house put aside. Everything looks really daunting at first, including, selling on Gumroad. Everything looks, if you look at the overall picture, it's going to look really scary and intimidating. And that's true for everything in life, but it's going to be so much more approachable if you really just start small. So for this creator that just started, do not feel like that. I started out too, and I was so scared. I didn't want to share my offer. I really didn't share my offer for a little bit because I was so nervous that people, would judge me. But if you kind of create this calendar for yourself where you say you're going to create one video or you're going to create just one module of your course that week, your life is going to be completely transformed in 3 to 4 months, because we really overestimate what we can do in the span of a year. We think, oh, we can completely change our lives, and we underestimate what we can do in just a few months. So if you'll really see that you put in just a tiny bit of effort every week on your product, that you're going to see so many rewards come to you at the end of like 3 months, because these things really add up. If you say, I'm going to do 2 blog posts for the next 4 months, and then at the end, maybe you did a little bit more, and maybe you have 10 blog posts, or maybe you have 12, or maybe you stuck to your minimum goal. Those are going to be all these ways for people to see your product. So for you, I would say I would write your first, I would start with, creating your product. So it sounds like you set up your account. I'm not sure if you've created your product yet, but if you have created your product, I would start sharing your offer once a week. I would create a free bonus module that you give away to your email list, maybe next month. Maybe it doesn't even have to be this month. And it's really funny. All you want to do is write football blogs. Totally fair. Sometimes I just want to watch Yellowstone or other unproductive television, or read whatever on social media or scroll Twitter. And don't feel scared. Just focus on doing one thing online. And this is really applicable to everyone watching this workshop right now. Is start small. Post one blog post this month. Share your product once a week. And where you are right now, it might be scary because you feel like you're looking at this huge thing of what you need to get done. But if you really start small and you kind of zone in on what you actually need to do, like break it down into small steps. And something powerful that I've read in the past is this book. I think it's the 12-week year, and you kind of break down your goals into just 4 months. So maybe check that out. You can get it on Amazon. Great question. Feel free also, everyone, to DM me on Twitter or post on Circle, which is the fastest way to get Gumroad, information and other creators and access to people like Daniel Pasalo or Philip Kiley or myself, or even Sahil is on there as well. So thank you all for listening to this workshop, and thanks Dominique as well for posting your first Gumroad product and getting that review. Thank you everyone so much for listening to this. And as a reminder, we will have in January our 14-day product challenge starting. So feel free to sign up for that. It's going to be really exciting. It starts January 1st, and it's going to be the way for you to quit your 9-to-5 this year and kind of get started. And it's going to be a really exciting challenge. And you'll also get access to the Gumroad Circle community. So really hope you sign up for that. Thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate all your time today. Bye.